Should the Eagles trade for DeVante Parker? Dallas still stinks. You're by the way, King Dingbat here. So now that the Miami Dolphins went out and made the blockbuster trade to get Tyreek Hill to play along with Cedric Wilson and Jalen Waddle, now there's talk about the possibility of teams acquiring, especially the Eagles, acquiring DeVante Parker. We're going to get into it in a second. DeVante Parker, is he coming to Philly? If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. We talk about the Eagles every day as well as other NFL news, and I'm telling you, days like this, you don't want to miss what's going on. And if you've been subscribed for a while, make sure you just double check, double moonwalk check, and make sure you are subscribed still, because YouTube has been unsubscribing people unknowingly to them. This isn't happening for just me, on other channels as well, so just double check. Now, let's talk about DeVante Parker. And this talk about DeVante Parker is going to lead me into probably, well, maybe part 2 of my rant. Maybe not so bad. I've tried to calm down since earlier today after the Tyreek Hill thing went down, and maybe I can explain my position a little more clearly, because I'm not so pissed off. Because I'm telling you, that really pissed me off today. It did. And it's not Tyreek Hill trade per se. It's the whole totality of all the wide receivers that have just slipped by our fingers this offseason. Now, let's first off talk about DeVante Parker. DeVante Parker is a guy, if you were with me for long term, about 3 years ago, I wanted the Eagles to make a trade for him. There was talk that they were going to shop him, that he may be available. They didn't. And turns out that, he goes, I think he had his best year that year, the year after they decided to keep him and not trade him. But, I mean, DeVante Parker, 6'3", 219 pounds, good size, great speed. He had 40 catches last year, 515 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he averaged 12.9 yards per catch. The one thing that worries me a little about DeVante Parker, there's 2 things. One, he's 29 years old. Now, you may say, well, what's the difference between a 29-year-old and a 28-year-old? And I'm going to say a whole entire season. A lot of things, especially when you look at a guy like DeVante Parker, who's coming off a lot of injuries. You look at his last 3 years, 2019, that was right after they decided to keep him, I believe. He has 72 catches, 1,202 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Great year. 2020, his numbers begin to fall. 63 catches, 793 yards, 4 touchdowns. Then last year in 2021, he has 40 catches for 515 yards, 12.9 yards per catch with 2 touchdowns. So that's what DeVante Parker has done over the last few years. Okay, so let's think about this as a whole. Okay, because first off, the Eagles go out and get Zach Pascal, right? They go out and get Zach Pascal, and it amazes me that everybody thinks he's your number 3. He's just going to replace Reagor. Reagor is just going to go to the 5th seed on the 5th on the depth chart. Reagor's just going to get benched. Let me tell you something. If you look at Howie Roseman his past, he will not give up on his players he drafts. Reagor is still your number 2 or 3 receiver. He may be your number 2. Now, he's not as good as Quez Watkins. He's not as good as Pascal. Has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the Eagles drafting Reagor when they did and the money they're giving him. So I think it's really hard for me to believe that Reagor is going to see less catches. Now, Pascal, he is going to replace J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. That is who he's going to replace, and he should. He's a major upgrade, and I don't mind that pick. Although I think they signed him for $1.5 million. Very bargain price wide receiver signing, but not a bad one. Not a bad one. So if DeVante Parker was to be traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, first of all, what are you going to give up for him? I'm not giving up a third-round pick. I'm not even giving up a fourth-round pick. He's having, diminishing return the last few years. He's 29 years old, and he's been hurt a lot. Okay? You get a guy like a Tyreek Hill. That's a once in every 10 years opportunity to get a guy like that in his prime. That's why I would have done that. But DeVante Parker, I mean, for the right price, you get like a fifth-round pick, maybe a fourth in 2023, maybe. But definitely not a third. I'm not giving a third-round pick. DeVante Parker's hurt a lot, too. That's the other thing. But if you were to bring DeVante Parker in, let's say, so you bring DeVante Parker in, you're looking at, he should probably be your number 2 wide receiver, right? Most likely, that's where he would go. I would say that they're going to continue to put Reagor at 3 not because he deserves it, but because of what he makes and where he was drafted. So we would have to get to like 5-6 weeks in the season, like maybe 6th, 7th week of the year, then they get fed up with Reagor and they bench him. It would take that much time, okay? But you would have an upgrade. Would it be an upgrade to get DeVante Parker? Yeah, sure, it would. It would definitely do it. It definitely would be an upgrade. Would I mind to see DeVante Parker? I mean, I don't particularly get super excited about it. I don't mind. I think it would be a nice addition, But I think what I'm starting to realize about the Eagles and this year and this offseason, and what I see happening is this, and I don't think people are catching this yet. Some people are. There are a lot of people are, but the Eagles are not going to vastly try to improve this offense because they are planning on getting a quarterback. That is the whole thing. That's what this whole offseason tells me. Look at the amount of receivers they could have had, right? If you believe in Jalen Hurts, if we're going to be honest and we're going to sit here right now, tell me how the Eagles' offense is vastly better than it was last year. Where has the improvement come from? Do you think Pascal makes such a big difference? The only thing that people can say in terms of improvement is that everybody gets one more year experience. All the moves that they have made to sign guys and bring them back are basically lateral moves. They're just to stay on par. What has been done offensively to upgrade this team? Now, if you go out and you draft a Traylon Burks in the first round, or one of these wide receivers in the first round, how is that going to help Jalen Hurts next year? This is where I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because here's my thing. The Tyreek Hill thing just set me off because I was frustrated with the no Christian Kirk, no DJ Chark, couldn't even get Robert Woods. All the guys that just went other places that the Eagles did not make an attempt to sign. And you can say, well, it's the money and it's the cap. Well, let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you something. Right now is the time to go spend the money to get talent around Jalen Hurts. Because Jalen Hurts is in a rookie deal. He's in a rookie deal. If you wait too long, you're going to have to either sign him to an extension or sign somebody else. If you look at what the Eagles did in 2017, Carson Wentz's second year, they went out and they got Torrey Smith, they got Alshon Jeffrey, they got offense around him. Now, maybe they weren't the greatest things long term, but for that next year, it made a big difference. And they took advantage of Carson Wentz's rookie contract. How are the Eagles right now taking advantage of Jalen Hurts' rookie contract? They are doing the complete opposite. This is the complete opposite of what they did. This is the complete... If the Eagles really want Jalen Hurts to be the guy and the future, if they really believe in him, then they would be doing more to put players around him. I truly believe it. Now, maybe something happens. Maybe they get DK Metcalf at the end of the day and it makes sense to me. But right now, It doesn't make any sense to me to have Howie Roseman come out there at a press conference and say, Jalen Hurts is our guy and he's our starting quarterback and we're gonna go with him and we're gonna look to improve the roster and put players around him. You're doing the complete opposite. You look at this offense and you can only tell me they're bringing back one player. They bring back Kelsey. They signed Jordan Mailata. You're going to tell me they signed Dallas Goedert. They signed Avonte Maddox on defense. They made all these signings and brought guys in, and now they just don't have any money. However, all that is true. They did bring those guys back, but they only make you on par for where you were last year. They don't vastly improve your offense. Where is the bump? At least on defense, I can say, well, Haason Reddick is an actual addition. Where is it on offense? And it just doesn't make sense. The only way this whole thing makes sense is if you realize they have no plans on building an offense around Hurts because they're already looking for another quarterback. If you think of it like that, then this whole off season makes sense. It makes sense because a lot of times they don't want to go out and get players to plug in any quarterback. They want to get players that will fit the quarterback that they draft. So, maybe a possession receiver is more important to them if they drafted Kenny Pickett than a speed guy would be if they drafted Malik Willis. So they're not going to go spend the money. This is the only thing that makes sense. So what I can't understand, right, because I get a lot of criticism about, hey, you wanted to trade for Russell Wilson. You would have traded for Deshaun Watson. You're damn right I would have. You're damn right. Because those guys are elite quarterbacks. They're the kind of guys you got to take the chance and do it. That's how I saw it. Now, I'm glad that the Eagles didn't spend the money and the draft picks on Deshaun Watson especially. But, I'm still wanting Jalen Hurts to do his best. I'm still wanting Jalen Hurts to go out there. And I don't understand how people can tell me that I shouldn't be upset about the Eagles not doing anything to help him, but then tell me that he deserves another chance and that the Eagles got to let him go out and be the franchise quarterback. They're not even doing anything to build this guy up. At least I'm trying to get this guy some help. It can't hurt to give Jalen Hurts help. But they haven't. Now, I like Quez Watkins. I love DeVante Smith. You could get DeVante Smith's gold jacket ready, as far as I'm concerned. But he still needs help. And everybody doesn't mind DeVante Parker right now, but when it's guys that really would have come in and made an impact, we just, they don't have money. It's very easy for us to say, well, they don't have cap room. They don't have this. Listen, you can manipulate the cap in seconds. I read somewhere that all they have to do is extend Javon Hargrave, and that's instantly $13 million in cap space. The Eagles and Howie Roseman, one of the things he does the most is he creates cap space. And he's done it before to make big signings. So it's not an excuse. There is no excuse for this. We have to look at what's going on. Okay? Now, to me, I feel like we're led down the wrong path. Because if I'd known going into the offseason, look, the Eagles, they want to get a quarterback, I would have been talking about DJ Chark and Christian Kirk and get these receivers. No, I believe what they said. Hey, you know what? And why? I have no idea. I believe in how he's saying. No, Jalen Hurts is a starter. We're gonna build the offense around him and get him players to help him out. Okay, when? You go and you draft a wide receiver. That's great. It's great to draft a wide receiver, but not every rookie wide receiver is going to come in and go catch 1,000 yards, receiving yards. It's not going to happen. So what I'm saying and what frustrates me, and really what my little rant about earlier more than anything wasn't about so much Tyreek Hill. That was just what set me off. What set me off more is I'm realizing, and I'm really starting to believe this, that this team is drafting a quarterback. That their intention is to use their picks to move up and get a quarterback. Either Pickett, Willis, Corral, whoever it's going to be. And that's their plan, and it's not changing. Because next year, they don't have the ammo to trade up for a quarterback. How are you going to get up to 1, 2, or 3 next year? This year, you have 3. So they're going to pick somebody, and they're going to draft them. I really think that's the only thing that makes sense. And if I'd known that earlier, I would have been like, I wouldn't have been expecting as much. That's the truth. It's not Tyreek Hill. It just shows you if this team really wanted to put pieces around Jalen Hurts, if they really wanted to help him out, they would have done it. Tyreek Hill would have been amazing. And people say, well, he gave up 5 picks. Well, he gave up 5 picks because the first pick that they gave up was the 29th pick overall. You realize, essentially, the way Kansas City looks at it, almost like 2 second-round picks. If the Eagles would have offered up the 16th and the 2nd and 4th next year, I guarantee you they're going to make that trade. So, it's different. It's just, it's funny to me how when the Eagles don't do anything, we always fall back on, it's the cap, or this guy ain't worth it. But when we do it, it's like, nobody cares about the cap anymore. This is the greatest player. And listen, I'm guilty of it too. But I'm frustrated by this whole thing. Because I really think the Eagles are going to get a quarterback now. I don't want that. Let me tell you, that's not what I want. What I want the Eagles to do is I want them to go out, and I want him to get defense and build this defense up and put players around Hurts so we can see if he's a guy or not. People say, why are they going to get Hurts players? He's not that good. Well, maybe the Eagles think the same way. It's the only thing that makes sense about this whole free agency period. And that's just the truth, man. So, will the Eagles go after DeVante Parker? Probably not. Would I like it? Yeah, sure. I mean, I would like DK Metcalf. Do you realize Kansas City and Green Bay are already inquiring about DK Metcalf? And we're sitting here. We're talking about it, twiddling our thumbs. So, I think today, it just hit me that, yesterday I was speculating. They want a quarterback. Now, I feel pretty confident that that's the plan. They're going to get a quarterback. And until they do that, they're not going to go spend assets. They're not going to spend a lot of money on offensive skilled players. And they're only going to bargain shop. And that's exactly what we've seen. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I feel better now. I got this off my chest. Take care. Talk to you later. Don't be a dingbat. And remember, it is how we vision. And we're all just living. How he's blown it all sky high for telling us a lie. He's drafting a quarterback. That's the reason why Dallas still stinks. Denzel Washington out.